Kamala Harris seems that this media blitz she's been on over the last month, every week has a new theme, right? I sat down with her during her economy week. Then she had a week where she was focused on women, when she spoke to Call Her Daddy. This week, she was focused on black men in America with Charlemagne the God. What are your thoughts on this new? I mean, you can no longer say she's avoiding the media. What do you think about what she's doing?
You know, it's interesting. At Glamour, we looked at the unwavering black woman voter, right? If you're a black woman voter in America, you're 98% likely to vote for the Democrats. The same can't be said, at least in what we've seen in recent polls, for black men. And you've seen this push. You saw it a week ago when former President Obama asked black men to vote for Kamala. And you've seen it really, really considered this week with her media strategy, including she's going on those shows like The Shade Room. She's really appealing to black male voters, but she's also, when she's on mainstream media like the Howard Stern show, she's mentioning that she's a Lewis Hamilton fan, and she's really, so there's the media blitz, but there's also the opportunity agenda for black men, which she, and I agree with you, it's a weekly drive. I'm interested to see what next week's drive is going to be for her.
What's your thought?
She's good at this. I think that's the takeaway. She's good at this. She's kind of a multi-sport athlete. She can go into different places and do well. And I think it's in contrast to Trump, who had that weird dance fest that makes everybody cringy, right? And I think she should press that advantage. Every time she tries a new area, she seems to do well, and she's tough. I think that's the key differentiator here. She can show that she's tough, and he's volatile, he's unstable, he's weak, he's a threat to national security. Now she's focusing on men, and I think that's where she needs to stay, because she's struggling, especially with non-college educated white men, independents in places like Pennsylvania, and I think that's going to be the key. She's got the two-pronged strategy of turning out voters, but she's got to get those moderates and shave away some moderate Republicans.
But these reports that she's slipping, or the Democratic Party is starting to slip with black male voters, where do you think this is coming from? Why is it?
I don't know, and I cringe when I hear those things. For starters, black voters, male and female, they're not monolithic. And I also think that what she's doing that's so smart is not only reaching out to men. I think you're right. I mean, being on Howard Stern was great. Charlemagne the God, that gets, checks that box.
And Charlemagne was hugely critical of President Biden, hugely critical.
He was.
So it's not like...
It wasn't a softball interview, not at all. But today she did a great interview with union people, union members, and keeps underscoring the differences between working class people and a rich guy who was handed $400 million and went bankrupt 6 times. So I love the fact that she's dipping all over the place. I think it's great.
She put her head in the mouth of the lion and went on Fox News. I want to know, Philip, what was your take? And I also want to know, how did Fox News speak about it after? Because before the interview, their entire narrative all day, every day, was that she was only doing softball interviews, easy interviews. She was never stepping up to the plate. She stepped up to the plate, and how is it taken over on their field?
Yeah, I mean, Fox News is obviously a right-wing media organization. And so, I hate to spoil it for everyone.
Oh, my God.
But, so she goes in there, and we've seen them do this before, but she sits on for the interview with Bret Baier. It's contentious. I think he's sort of gotten somewhat of a bad rap. He had a fairly contentious interview with Trump in June of 2023 as well. I think that's worth noting. But what happens when you go on Fox is instantaneously, he's followed by Laura Ingraham and Jesse Waters and Sean Hannity. What they do is they take little pieces of the interview and then they just dump on it. And they spend the entire hour, they invite guests in, and all they do is say, here's why this was terrible. And so you get this half-hour interview in which Kamala Harris is trying to talk to these voters who might be watching Fox News, who may be sort of like, I don't love Trump, and I don't really know how I feel about Harris. And the people to whom she is trying to appeal with her, Liz Cheney likes me, like Republicanism outreach, right? So you do that for half an hour, and then you have 3 hours of Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters just saying the worst, most obnoxious and false things.
But they're going to crush her no matter what.
Yeah, 100%.
And think about this. Think about the woman, the woman who watches Fox News, right? My mother, the Louise Rule, who watches Fox News. And she's watching Kamala Harris and says, well, Donald Trump said Kamala Harris is so stupid. She's not that stupid. But Donald Trump says Kamala Harris is so weak. She's not so weak. So there are a portion of those voters out there, those Fox News voters, who might not like Kamala Harris's policies, but they're going to watch that interview and at least say, well, she's not how Donald Trump described her at all.
Exactly. And they're going to get bits of information that they've never gotten before because Fox doesn't go into those pieces of information. Also, I got to say, I was amazed that Bret Baier actually addressed her as Madam Vice President. He was so hostile compared to how he was when he interviewed Trump. It was like very, very respectful, and he interrupted her.
Shouldn't he call her Madam Vice President?
Yeah, he should. But I was I was surprised that he did because he was so disrespectful otherwise. He interrupted her 38 times in 27 minutes. 38 times. And for women that might be watching, they're going to be like, you know, I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be silenced and to be interrupted. And I think that might go somewhere.
Is there a hope that maybe it's a Fox News house and there's somebody that watches Fox News that is never going to not vote for Trump, but there's other people tuning in and catching this, whether it's a daughter or son or somebody? Is that the hope in going to the Fox audience, that you're getting the whole household, not just the diehard Fox News fan?
Yeah. Or do you think this puts Donald Trump in a corner, right? However she was going to do, win, lose, or draw, this puts Donald Trump in a corner, right? That they were saying she's junior varsity, she's weak, she can't do it. As I said, she now put her head in the mouth of the lion while Donald Trump sat home or just talked to his friends. Does this not put pressure on him to do something with a non-friendly audience?
But he keeps cancelling, right? I mean,
he's exhausted.
He's cancelling.
But she's pressing her advantage, right? She's putting the pressure on him, and I think that's what she should continue to do, to out-tough him, to be aggressive. She's calling him out. She's saying he's wimpy. He won't debate her. And the further she goes into enemy territory, she continues to show she's tough. And that's what she's got to show those persuadable voters. Not everybody who watches Fox News is stupid. Fox News plays in places like the military bases, right? And a lot of folks are watching it saying, you know, she's not as bad as I thought. I don't like that guy and I don't like her, but she's better than him. And that's the contrast she has to continue to push. She doesn't have to sell him that she's the greatest on earth. She just has to show she's less bad than him.
And that she wants to appeal to everybody. She's not just going for her quote-unquote base. She's really putting herself out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to remember the context here, which is that this race is even, right? And so Donald Trump doesn't have to do this because he has this base of support. He's run for president twice before. He has this base of support, 47% of the electorate who's going to come out and vote for him, right? And he feels confident in that. And Republicans and older voters tend to vote more frequently and consistently anyway. Kamala Harris isn't in that position. And so all of these things that we're talking about, the outrage with Charlamagne God, all these various things are her trying to convince people that it's worth taking the time to go vote, right? And so if you can get some of those Republicans, some of those generally skeptical Republicans, if you can get a few of them to come out and vote, yeah. Do I think this was on net useful? No, I don't. I disagree. I don't think it was terribly useful because, you know, those people that watched it then watched Laura Ingraham and so on and so forth. You know,
yes, but
I do think though
all over the place, right?
Yeah, I understand. There are clips and so on. That's fair.
And to anyone, you know, we keep hearing, you know, she speaks a word salad. She gave non-answers. Even if you don't like what her answers are, she's actually answering the questions. Earlier this week, when Donald Trump spoke at the Economic Club of Chicago to John Micklethwait from Bloomberg, he was asked repeatedly, do you think Google should break up? His answer was about voter rolls in Virginia. So you can tell me that you don't like that Kamala Harris uses the word.
Don't make me defend Trump.
I'm saying you. We could say that, you know, oh, what does it mean when Kamala Harris talks about holistic economy? You might not like her word choices, but she's actually answering the question. Because I'm pretty sure whether or not Google breaks up has nothing to do with undocumented immigrants voting in Virginia.
I know. The answer to everything is not undocumented immigrants. It's just not. And she just is reaching all kinds of people and showing that she's not a moron. I mean, the names he calls her. He's always talking about her lack of intelligence. Stop it.
But it's also, I think people have been waiting for policy from her. I think if you were talking about a month ago, a lot of the questions were like, I don't know what she stands for. I don't know what her... She is doing a blitz, and she's talking about reproductive rights. She's talking about an agenda for black men. She's getting her policy out in lots of different places.
And she's talking about taxes. She's a Democrat saying, I will lower your taxes. And I think the taxes, toughness, I've talked about this before. Another T is Tim Walz, using him strategically. That's how you move independents, unaffiliated. 51% of this country is unaffiliated, not Democrat, not Republican. And they want to hear taxes. They want to hear the border. They want to hear national security. And they want to hear how you're going to make their life better. And she's proving her case and going everywhere, any day, and showing she can handle it. And I think that's what she's got to continue to do. Show she can be commander-in-chief and she can handle the fire.
I mean, with respect, 51% of the 40% of, you know, the country votes with a party anyway, right?
Because they don't have a choice.
Well, no, that's not true. No,
it's absolutely true.
No, the leaning.
When did you have an option to vote for an independent in a recent election?
Well, that's not what they do. Independent voters.
That is the point.
They consistently vote with one party or the other.
Because they don't have an option.
Well, I mean, perhaps, but...
No, absolutely.
No, I mean, look...
What independent option do they have in this election?
Well, they have Jill Stein, if you want me to.
Okay, we're going to go there. All right,
Not available.
There are not a lot of people who are actually sitting down and undecided between these voters. It is not the case that 50% of the country is looking at them being like, well, I'm not sure between Kamala and Trump. I know that's not what you're saying, but my point is there are not that many people who actually exist in this liminal space between the two parties. Most independents consistently vote with one party. If you say it's because there aren't other options, fine. You can say there's not other options, but they still are in that habit of doing that, of voting for Democrats and voting for Republicans.
But I think
they tend to vote.
But they're also.
But they're not sitting back, and polling showed it's not that the undecided voters are sitting back and waiting to hear more information about policies. These are the least engaged political actors and the people who pay the least attention. They are not the ones who are drilling in the deepest on policy.